Hi, everyone, this is the Encyclopedia channel. The book that this program interprets for you is Die with Zero. The biggest feature of this financial education book is that it discusses how to spend money in order to live without regrets. As a global bestseller, it has been translated into 8 mainstream languages, including English, German, Japanese, and Chinese. The author is an American named Bill Perkins. He majored in engineering at university. After graduation, he first engaged in financial business on Wall Street, and later co-founded a hedge venture fund with his friends. He also worked as a film producer and participated in the production of several commercial films. Although, it seems that what he does after graduation has nothing to do with his major. However, after 4 years of engineering training at university, he has become accustomed to using engineering thinking to solve many problems in work and life. So, how do you think about learning to spend money in life so as not to leave regrets? How to do the right thing at the right time to maximize the happiness of a lifetime? Human life is limited. How to minimize the waste of life and realize a fulfilling life? After listening to this episode, you will understand. Take the topic discussed in this book, how to spend money so that you can live without regrets. Life without regrets sounds like a profound philosophical proposition, but the author believes that from an engineering point of view, we can transform it into an optimization problem, specifically, how to make a lifetime of happiness maximize sense, minimize waste. The author has been thinking about this issue since he just stepped out of the campus, and gradually formed a set of systematic thinking in the following 20 years of social experience. In this book, he gives 9 guidelines. For example, 1. Maximize positive life experience. 2. Start investment experience early. 3. Aim to return to zero before death. 4. Use all available tools to achieve zeroing before death. 5. Give money to your children or charity when it will make the most sense. 6. Don't go with the flow. 7. See life as seasons. 8. Know when to stop wealth growth. 9. Take the biggest risks when you have nothing to lose. 9. Indeed a bit much, not easy to remember. But after reading the book, in fact, they can be further summarized into 2 principles. One is to focus on experience investment, which corresponds to the maximization of happiness in the optimization problem. The other is to pursue return to zero before death, which corresponds to waste minimization in optimization problems. In the following interpretations, we will explain what they are and how they fall into practice. First part. Let's look at the first principle first, focusing on experience investment. The meaning is very simple. It is to find something that can make you happy and then spend money to experience it. It sounds obvious. Why did the author even go out of his way to remind it? He said that this is because many people are not aware enough of the importance of experience in our lives. The author tells an example of his father. A few years before his father's death, his physical strength declined greatly, and his joy in life was much less. So, the author gave him a special gift, a tablet computer with several videos stored in it, which were some highlight clips of his father's participation in football games when he was young. The father was very pleasantly surprised. He took the tablet computer, watched the video repeatedly, saw his young figure, watched his former teammates, relived the memories at that time, laughed for a while, and cried for a while. He later told the author that it was the best gift he had ever received. This makes the author deeply feel a sentence. Life is a process of constantly collecting memories, and only memories can accompany us in the end. And where did these memories come from? It is those experiences that you have had in your previous life, moment by moment, or only once in your lifetime. For example, the first date with a lover, a backpacking trip that you can say go, a game you fought hard to win with a friend, and so on. The author emphasizes a sentence many times in the book: your life is the sum of your experiences. When we get older and look back on our lives, we feel that the fullness of our lives actually depends on our life experiences of richness. The author also found that many times, people only pay attention to the value-added effect of money, but ignore the value-added effect of experience. The value-added effect of money is well understood. For example, if you save $1,000 under the action of compound interest, it will become more money after many years. In the same way, in fact, experience also has such a value-added effect, we invest time or money to obtain experience, and what we gain is not only the feeling at that time, but also continuous dividends. For example, have you ever had such an experience? On an ordinary day, you suddenly heard a song that you liked many years ago from a speaker on the side of the road, the taste in memory, or, in a corner of the home, an old videotape or an old photo was found, or, the mobile phone album reminds you, today 3 years ago, what scene did you take, what's going on? At this time, those previous experiences will surge again, making you feel emotional, blush, joyful, or tearful. Therefore, every experience brings you more than just a momentary feeling. It also brings out additional experiences every time you revisit it or discuss it with others in your later life. This is the value-added effect of experience. This is why, in the book, the author refers to investing time or money in experience as an investment. Moreover, he believes that the return on this investment is more precious than the return on money. Because money is renewable and property is replaceable, however, the feelings that experience brings to us are often unique. Therefore, the author suggests that we should pay attention to investment experience. This is a fundamental path to help us achieve maximum happiness in our lives. So, does this mean that we just need to figure out what makes us feel happy and then spend whatever money we want to experience it? It's not that simple. The book reminds us that timing is important to experience. For example, the author talks about a past event. In his 20s, he had a roommate named Jason who was about his age. At that time, Jason made a bold decision to take a 3-month vacation and go backpacking in Europe. After returning from the trip, Jason shared with the author the photos he took and various experiences. For example, in Paris, he and his new friends spent a very pleasant afternoon eating baguettes, cheese and red wine in the park. In the Greek islands, he fell in love with a girl, and the two wandered together on the beach in the evening. He also met many local people in various places, young travelers from many different countries, learned about multiple cultures, and felt that his world was completely opened up. The author envies Jason very much and regrets not going with him. In the following days, he often thought that he would travel to Europe sometime. However, the timing never seems right, either feeling like there is no time or feeling like you have to save more money. Finally, at the age of 30, the author went to Europe, but he found that he could no longer replicate many of Jason's experiences back then. He can't live in a youth hostel, and he can't hang out with young people. Moreover, due to the heavier workload, his travel time was also forced to be shortened. In the end, he sighed with some regret, if only I had gone earlier. The author talks about this experience to express that our ability to enjoy various experiences changes at different stages of life. Like also a trip to Europe. A 5-year-old child may not remember anything after a trip. A 20-year-old youth can travel with a backpack like Jason, tirelessly, and as people grow older, people's physical strength and ability to take risks decline. Tourism may be just a shallow walk. People often feel that it is money that determines the kind of experience we can have. But the authors believe that a more important factor is our ability to enjoy experiences, which is closely related to age. Once, after the author made his first pot of gold, he excitedly gave his grandmother $10,000. As a result, in the next year, the only thing Grandma bought with the money was a 50-yuan sweater, which was bought for the author. This is not because Grandma is deliberately saving money, but because her vitality is not as good as before, and her willingness and ability to spend money on experience are very limited. Therefore, the author reminds us that if we want to maximize the time and money in our life, the timing of investment experience is very important. It's not just about spending money as you like, but planning carefully. How to plan it? We have extracted 4 suggestions from the book for your reference. First of all, investment experience should start as early as possible. Here is the phrase investment should be done early from Warren Buffett. Because the earlier you start investing, the longer you will be able to reap the return on investment later. The rate of return on money investment may be positive and negative from time to time, but the dividends that experience investment brings to your subsequent life must be continuously accumulated positively. Some people may worry, if I have no money, how can I invest in experience as early as possible? In fact, investment experience does not have to cost a lot of money. There is a survey conducted across the United States that asks people what activities make them feel happiest. The highest scores include sports, reading, talking with family, playing with children, etc., all of which cost nothing. Of course, they require an investment of time from us. There is also an added benefit of investing in experience as early as possible. That is, when we are young and strong and full of enthusiasm for exploring the world, we may gain a lot of happiness by investing relatively little time and money. For example, the author's roommate Jason lived in a cheap hostel and ate baguettes in the park, but he also gained an experience that will last a lifetime. The book encourages us to explore more low-cost experiences. For example, even if you have no money or time to travel far away, you can take the bus or subway to explore the strange corners of your city, you can visit those free and open art blocks, you can go hiking in the suburbs with your friends, picnics, board games, and more. Many people have not fully explored these low-cost happiness. However, it should be noted that investing in experience as early as possible means starting investing as early as possible to prolong your investment return period, not to say that all investments should be concentrated in the early years of life. In fact, as long as we plan well, no matter what age group we are, we can dig out experiences that suit us and make the most of our time and money. This brings us to the second suggestion in the book on experience investment, which is time segmentation. This is a simple tool that can help you draw a rough outline of the life you want. You can take out a piece of paper and draw a line representing your life from now onwards. Then, divide this line into intervals. Each interval represents 5 or 10 years, which is actually an age group, such as 30 to 35 years old, 35 to 40 years old. Then, think about what key experiences you want to achieve in the rest of your life. For example, go to an outdoor music festival, run a marathon, apply for a patent, take your children to Disneyland, go to 10 different Michelin 3-star restaurants, take a cruise to Alaska, read 20 classic novels, and so on. Write down what comes to mind first, and don't be afraid that this list will not be complete, you can always update it later. After making the list, you have to think about when to achieve each experience in it. Then assign them to the corresponding age groups. In this way, the time and money of each age group can be maximized. Moreover, in the process, you may also realize that some experiences conflict with each other, or that some experiences need to be planned now, otherwise it may be too late to realize. This can help us make overall arrangements in the dimension of life. It can be said that time segmentation is a basic thinking framework when we invest in experience. On top of this framework, we can continue to optimize. That's it for the third and fourth suggestions that follow. The third is to focus on investing in health. This does not conflict with investment experience, because a good body can allow you to enjoy various experiences better. In the author's view, how much happiness we can gain from an experience mainly depends on 3 factors: health, wealth, and free time. Among these 3 factors, the influence of wealth and free time is temporary. At a certain point in time, whether you have more money or less time will only affect your experience at that time. However, the health effects are persistent and magnified with age. For example, if a person does not pay attention to his body when he is young, and suffers from some diseases, it will not only affect his enjoyment of experience when he was young, but may also accelerate his physical decline in the following years. Therefore, we must pay attention to investing in health, such as improving eating habits, regular physical examinations, engaging in more favorite sports activities, and so on. Moreover, such investments have to start early. Let's talk about the fourth article, which is called Properly Exchanging Money for Free Time. To put it simply, it is to properly outsource some things that take time and make your experience worse. The most typical is some housework. For example, it takes 6 hours to clean the kitchen and bathroom by yourself. When you are working, the wages per hour are converted to about $20. Then for you, an optional method is to spend $120, hire a part-time worker to help you clean, and you can use this time to accompany your children to the park, read a book, or do anything that makes you happier than cleaning the room. The author said that even when he was a fresh graduate and his income was not much, he would adopt this strategy appropriately, so he bought himself a lot of happy weekends. And as a person grows older, wealth increases, and time becomes more valuable, this strategy should be used more. This is not just the author's personal experience. Psychological research also shows that those who are good at spending money and saving time, no matter how much they earn, will have higher life satisfaction than those with the same income. This is also reasonable, because when we spend money to get rid of tasks we don't like, we not only have more time and can experience more happy things, but also reduce many negative life experiences and naturally feel happier. The second part. What we just talked about is the first half of the optimization problem of life, that is, how to maximize the happiness of a lifetime. However, we also know that this maximum can only be the maximum under certain constraints. For everyone, the maximum that you can achieve is often different from the maximum that I can achieve. However, the book tells us that there is a spending goal that can help everyone maximize happiness within their own abilities. That's the second half of the optimization problem we mentioned at the beginning, waste minimization. Specifically, at the end of your life, you have as little money left over as possible. I know, for us, this line of thinking feels quite scary. Various questions may pop up in our minds at once. For example, what if I live a long life and don't have enough money? What if I get seriously ill in my later years? What about my child? Don't worry, we will talk about these later. Now, let's listen to the author's explanation of his idea. He said that because he was trained as an engineer in his early years, he had a habit of thinking, that is, he liked efficiency and hated waste. He believes, for humans, one of the worst wastes may be wasting our life energy. Every penny we earn is exchanged with our own life energy, so wasting our hard-earned money is a waste of life energy. If we don't want to waste life energy, our ultimate goal should be to return to zero before death, that is, to spend all the money at the end of life. The author is not the first to make this claim. Modigliani, a Nobel laureate in economics, once put forward a life cycle hypothesis, which focuses on how people manage their spending and savings throughout their lives in order to make the best use of money. The goal set is also to spend all the money at the end of life. That might sound extreme. Moreover, who can pinch so accurately? Indeed, the return to zero before death mentioned in the book is just an idealized thinking model and a directional goal. It doesn't mean that we really need to spend all the money before we are alive, but that we should keep as little as possible, that is, minimize waste. In this way, you have exchanged your own money for as much experience and as much happiness as possible. This is also the first worry that many people raise when they face the idea of minimizing waste, that is, the money is gone when people are alive, and the money is not spent after people die. However, the book reassures us that, in fact, this worry has already been considered for us in the financial market, and there are many solutions. For example, the most typical is to buy annuity products. Its principle, in simple terms, is that when you have a fixed income, you can pay a certain amount of money to the insurance company on a regular basis or at a time, and then, when you need to retire, you can pay a fixed amount of money every month. The insurance company receives a sum of money, and as long as you live, you can receive it for as long as possible. This can largely solve the worry if people are alive, but money is gone. Of course, there are many types of annuity products, and each person's health, wealth, risk tolerance, and other factors are different. Therefore, when it comes to ourselves, whether to buy it or which one to buy, we still need to consult with professionals first. In addition to this, there is another worry, which can also find a solution in the financial market, that is, disease risk. Many people save money because they are afraid that there may be a lot of medical expenses in their later years. In response to such concerns, various types of health insurance currently cover many of these situations. However, in the author's opinion, in addition to doing back-end insurance like this, it is more sensible to spend more of your expenditure and time on the front end, that is, to maintain health and prevent diseases. For example, many health insurance companies will use gift cards and other methods to encourage people who have bought insurance to do regular health screenings. This is of course an effort by them to reduce claims expenses. However, you should not ignore the usual health maintenance just because you bought insurance. We have already talked about the specific reasons and methods in the previous part. Focus on investing in health. In response to these basic concerns, after taking countermeasures. If you are willing to find out how to achieve the goal of minimizing waste, the book also gives operational suggestions. First, calculate your life expectancy. I know, this matter sounds a little shocking. However, the author reminds, just because we don't like something, doesn't mean it's not worth doing. A rough estimate of life expectancy can help us plan our lives more clearly, instead of blindly earning, saving, and spending money with the mentality of confusion is a blessing. How to calculate life expectancy? In fact, there are many off-the-shelf calculators that you can use. The author asked his friends in the American Society of Actuaries, and they recommended a tool on the official website of the American Actuaries, called the Actuarial Life Diagram. Just by answering a few questions, it can produce a graph showing your probability of living to different ages. Of course, this is not the only option. Many insurance companies that sell life insurance provide online life calculators for free. They will ask about your age, sex, height, weight, smoking and alcohol habits, family medical history, and other important predictors, such as whether you wear a seatbelt in a car, and so on. After answering, the calculator will give a rough life estimate. This process also has the added benefit of reminding us of the key factors affecting lifespan and what improvements we should make if we want to prolong our lifespan. After making improvements, you test again, and the results may change. After getting the approximate life expectancy, the next thing we need to do is to set our own net asset peak point. This peak point is not an asset amount, but an age, such as 55, 57, or 60. Before this age, it is your wealth accumulation stage, and your monthly expenditure should be less than your income. Once you reach this age, you will enter the wealth consumption stage, and your expenditure is greater than your income. Why set such a peak point? It's very simple, because if your net worth keeps growing, then you will definitely not be able to achieve minimization of waste. You may lose a lot of life experience that you could have gained because of blindly saving money or always working. There is an analogy in the book: a man digs a well, installs a water pump, and then pumps water into a cup. The cup soon fills up, and the water begins to overflow. He takes a sip and continues to pump water and repeats. When he reached the end of his life, he realized that he had pumped water all his life, but he still hadn't quenched his thirst. What a waste this is to him. In the same way, if a person feels that the happiness experience in his life is very poor when he is dying, he may also regret it very much. Okay, back to peak net worth. Where is the best place to set this peak? The author and his friends in finance designed many hypothetical characters and performed simulation calculations, covering different health conditions, income growth rates, and interest rate environments. Finally, it is concluded that for most people, the best peak net worth falls between the ages of 45 and 60. The specific peak point selection is greatly affected by the health status. For a strong person, the peak point can be slightly delayed until the age of 60 or above, because his ability to enjoy various experiences decays relatively slowly. We assume that the peak point of your net assets you set for yourself is 55 years old. Then, before the age of 55, the author recommends that we use a dynamic version of the balanced financial formula to plan our own spending and savings. Balanced financial formula: we can simply understand that when you get a month's income, first deduct the basic expenses such as loans, rent, water, electricity, and necessities, and then use 60% of the remaining money for personal experience, 40% to save or invest. However, in the author's opinion, this formula is not applicable to all age groups, and we need to make appropriate dynamic adjustments. For example, if you are young, you can experience a lot of things, and you expect your income to increase in the future, you can reduce the proportion of savings. However, if you have been in a bad state for a period of time and can't get up the energy to experience it, or, as you grow older, you want to experience fewer things, then you can increase the proportion of savings. In addition, regarding how much money is enough to save, the author also gave a reference formula, that is, use your life expectancy, subtract the retirement age, and then multiply it by your estimated annual living cost after retirement. This cost mainly depends on which city you want to live in after retirement and what kind of living standard you choose. After mastering the tools of life expectancy, net asset peak point, dynamic financial formula, and pension savings formula, we will have a breakthrough point to solve the problem of waste minimization. However, at this time, you may still have a worry in your heart that has not been resolved, that is, although, it seems that I have optimized my life in this way, but is this too selfish? Shouldn't I leave something for my children? The answer to this question in the book is, of course you can leave money to people you care about, such as children. But do you have to wait until after you die before handing over the money to them? You can make a plan to give money to your children when it will bring them the most benefit. After you give it, the money has nothing to do with you. The waste minimization mentioned in the book refers to your own money, not including this money. Why does the author give this suggestion? He explained that if we wait until after death to let our children inherit, we are effectively leaving them a random amount of residual property at a random time. And random, how can it be regarded as really thinking about them? You have no way of knowing how effective the money will be in their hands. Data show that people mostly receive inheritances later in life. But this time is often not the time when their ability to enjoy the experience is at its best. The author once conducted a survey on the internet, asking at what age do you most want to get an inheritance? Thousands of people participated in the survey. More than half of the people chose the age of 26 to 35, and nearly 1/3 of the people chose the age of 36 to 45. It can be clearly seen that if given a choice, most people actually don't want to wait until they are old and have little need for money before they get a fortune. And if we can take out the money we want to give to our children when they need it and have the ability to enjoy it, so that the money can be used to its maximum effect, we are actually helping our children get closer to their optimal solution in life. In addition, there is a reminder in the book, which I think is very worth remembering. That is, the real legacy you leave to your children is not money, but the experience you share. Especially, the teachings you gave them when they were growing up, and the good memories of being with each other. Regarding this point, there is a story in the book that touched me very much. The author has 2 daughters. When they were very young, they would often pull the author to watch an animated movie about proboscis together. The author also enjoys this kind of time. But then, one day, when the author took the time to invite his younger daughter to watch the movie again, the 10-year-old daughter was unwilling to watch it because she thought it was only for children. The author said that if someone reminded him in advance that there would be such a day, then he would probably hurry up and watch it several times with them. But unfortunately, in reality, it is difficult for you to know the day when you will no longer be able to continue to have a certain experience. In a certain sense, in fact, each of us will die countless times in our lives. It means that the duration of each stage of you is limited. For example, you who are a college student, you who are single and unmarried, you who are new parents, and you who are strong, they cannot always exist. Perhaps the word death is not very nice. Then we can put it another way, that is, we have been moving forward from one stage of life to the next. At each stage, we seem to have a brand new life, we can gain new experiences and live to the fullest. Like, although the author and his daughters watched the proboscis together, this stage of life is gone forever. However, he can still enjoy other life experiences with them, such as watching them play football, enjoying their dance performances, taking them on trips, and so on. Of course, they will grow up one day, this stage will pass, and a new stage will begin. However, no matter what stage it is, the story of the proboscis will not stop. Therefore, the author said that at every stage of life, he would seriously ask himself, what is your proboscis at this stage? Did you catch it well? Epilogue. Now, let's look back. It can be said that this is a unique guide to wealth and life. What it tries to tell us is not how to increase wealth, but how to enrich life. From an engineering point of view, the author transforms the problem of how to spend money to live without regrets into an optimization problem, specifically, how to maximize the happiness of a lifetime and minimize waste. About how to maximize happiness. The author's point is that your life is the sum of your experiences, and the timing of your experiences is important. Therefore, we must pay attention to the investment in experience, and we must start as early as possible, and plan for experience in different periods of life. Regarding how to minimize waste, the author gives the idea of pursuing returning to zero before death, and gives life expectancy calculation, net asset peak point, dynamic financial formula and pension savings formula tool. Return to zero before death is an idealized thinking model. At the end of the book, the author also admits that this is an almost impossible task. Even if we strictly follow every suggestion in the book, we may not be able to achieve it in the end. But that doesn't matter. Because this goal has fulfilled its real mission, that is, to push you in the direction of pursuing the best solution to life. It can help you think about your life more carefully and consciously. instead of just following the crowd and blindly earning, spending, and saving money. A life of going with the flow is easier, but it drains your life energy unconsciously. A life of deliberation may be more exhausting, but it allows you to allocate your precious life energy more wisely, not only including money, but also including time. Everyone can't be absolutely perfect, but there is no doubt that we all need to cherish this one-time chance in life. This book reminds us that life is a process of collecting experiences. So from now on, think more about how to use limited time and money to get as much happiness experience as possible. Then you will almost certainly live an extremely fulfilling life. This is the end of this episode of the show. What do you think about it differently? Welcome to leave a message to discuss with everyone. Hey, if you like our channel, please subscribe us. Haha, remember to like it.